Our tools are a scissors, a measuring tape, a chalk, and a ruler. To start with, we'll be using our ruler to draw a baseline at the top of the fabric. This line is going to serve as a baseline for all our measurements. So we draw it out at the edge. That's from the beginning of our fabric, like so. It will serve as a baseline for all our measurements, both horizontal and vertical. And our fabric is folded into two. As we can see, the edges of the other side is folded into two, and it's for a kaftan dress. The kaftan dress is a very long one. It will be flowing down, so the length is just to the end. Then now we are taking our shoulder length. The shoulder length is at 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So we'll mark it at that point. Then downwards from that very point is our armhole length, which is at 9, because the bust is 44. For bustier persons, is at 9. Then we join the 2 points with our ruler, the shoulder point down to the armhole point. Then we also draw a straight line to the other end to form our armhole. This is the bust of our armhole. Yeah. Then we use our measuring tape to mark 1.5 inch upwards from that point. 1.5 inch to enable us curve at our armhole properly. So we sketch it from the start down to that point of our 1.5 inch to curve it towards the end of the other side of the fabric, which is the right side, to form our armhole, like so. You can see for more clarity. Then next is our neckline. And neckline is at horizontally is at 0.4 and vertically is at 0.3 or 3.5. It's optional. It all depends how you want it. It is optional. There's no formula for that. Then you join the 2 points together like so. And again, you form a box to the end of the material at the left hand side for our neckline. Then again, we're going to mark a 1 inch upward from that point. Yes, it is 1 inch upwards to enable us form a curve for our neckline. This is a U neck, so we can see it's forming a U curve, and that is it for the neckline. You can see the next thing we'll be looking at is our bust measurement. Our bust measurement is just below the armhole, let's say 10 to 11 inches from the top down to that point of our bust. And our bust is at 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11. So we're marking our bust at 0.11 on the measuring tape, plus 2.5 inches allowance. We'll mark the allowance at 0.13. We mark it at 0.13.5. Meanwhile, our bust is at 0.11. Then the 2-inch allowance falls at 13.5. We'll mark it there. And our bust at 11. We'll mark it there also. So to mark our waist point, we place the measuring tape vertically from the top to down, and we are marking it at 0.18 because that is where the waist meets for the client. And then for the hip, we go down to point 27. It depends on the person's height. It's not constant. Now coming back to our waist where we marked before, vertically you're going to make the measurement at that point, at the waist point, and the waist is 36. So 36 divided by 4, it will be at 9. So we'll mark it at 0.9 plus 2.5 inches allowance. We'll mark it at 11.5. Then we use our ruler and join the points there together at the waist, like so. We are joining the points at the waist plus the allowance. You can see the 2 points we marked for the waist and the allowance, like so. Again, we'll be going down to the hip point where we marked our hip at 27 earlier on. Yes, at 27 we marked it before, so we're going to be measuring the hip at that point. And the hip is 46. 46 divided by 4, it will be at 0.12. That's 12. We'll mark it there. And 2.5 inch allowance, we also mark it at 14.5, like so. Thereafter, we use our ruler as usual to join the points together horizontally at the hip area. We join the points, both the point of the hip and that of the allowance. Draw a line joining them together like this, and that is it for the hip measurement. So we have done all our horizontal measurement. Now we are going up to the bust part. We've done that of the hip and the waist. We are going back to where we marked for our bust earlier on to join the point there. So we join the point at our bust area, which is just below the armhole, like so, with a ruler. Then we are done with our horizontal measurements. So what we do now is to label them: B for bust, W for waist, and H for hip. After doing all of those, we are going to be joining the lines that we marked for all those horizontal points of bust, waist, hip. We will join those points vertically down to form the shape of the dress. So we measure them down like so. So we continue joining the vertical points with our ruler. We join it all through from the bust down to the waist and hip. So we come back to our shoulder, where we'll be measuring 1 inch downwards along the armhole line. So we measure 1 inch downward at the top part to connect to our neckline to form a shoulder slant. So we'll be using our ruler to join it from our neckline down to the armhole to form the shoulder slant by 1 inch downwards, like so. Then after, if you wish, you can add an allowance up there so that you don't eat deep into the neck. And then we are done with the kaftan dress. Beginning to end, it is just a very long kaftan dress. It flows to the down. Then you can start cutting from any angle. After all the measurements are done, you can cut from any angle. So after cutting out the kaftan dress, then we continue to fold another fabric for our back panel, and that will be done so by placing it on top of another folded fabric for the back panel. Then we cut it out. You can see we've cut out the first panel and all the points are still showing there, after which we'll place it at another folded material to cut out our back panel before the joining of a full kaftan dress. So you can see the flare downwards to the top. It's a very long kaftan dress. You can see to the top, and all the sketches are showing beginning to end of the dress. So now we have cut out the kaftan dress and we have placed it on top of another folded one, which is the back panel, with a 2 inches extra allowance that we added at the back panel for the zipper allowance. If yours requires a zipper, then you add 2 inches at the back panel to form a zipper. So that's 2 inches there. From there we just trace it with the front panel and cut it out like so, all through to the end. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. So this is the finished work of our dress. I make this for a friend who is not here in the country, but because of the COVID-19 season that we are, I'll be waving it down much later to her. Thank you for viewing this video. God bless you. Bye.